Michigan State, I think, also needs to get off to a fast start. It's homecoming. People will go to the game to start. Maryland is notorious for slow starts.
Well, they have been the last 2 weeks.
Well, they fell behind 14-0 to teams that they ended up beating.
Yeah, they fell behind 14-0 and then blew out
Charlotte
38-6, and then they fell behind 14-0 and won
blew out
42-0 or something.
I would say that, I mean, like everything, early in the year, you don't know who you are, but it's a reason to emphasize, get off to a fast start. You don't want people leaving that stadium early. And after last week and what happened quickly in that game, you have a team here that might be prone. Maybe that's a better way to put it. Might be prone to starting slow. Hopefully for Spartan fans and Spartan Nation and that football team, they can take advantage of it. I don't like their chances to win this game, but I do think, one of the keys for them will be a fast start.
Well, I'm not looking at what Maryland did as a pattern, because what they've done in the last 2 weeks is start slow. Mm-hmm. Michigan State hasn't started off that great either. So I don't know if it's just a wash or whatever. I just look at the teams, and I think Maryland's got the experience at quarterback in Tagovailoa, and he's pretty good. He's been accurate. He's able to complete big plays. Maryland has good receivers. They've got a good running back in Hemby, who are players because they've progressed. Defensively, last week better be a yuck throw in the garbage game from what we saw defensively, because they couldn't make any tackles right at the line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage when they had the opportunities, and they were there. They would hit the player, and the player would just bounce off and keep going. They didn't wrap. They didn't tackle well. They didn't show good technique. It was terrible. Beyond that, they had no pass rush to speak of against Michael Penix. So how is that going to play out when you need a pass rush against Tagovailoa? You better get one. And on the back end, cover somebody. Please, God. Yeah. I don't know if it's zone coverage that State was in against Washington or what, but these guys were so wide open. It's like they were completely clueless. And what's frustrating as a Spartan fan is that, they should be so much better when it comes to the secondary, given that Mel Tucker was a secondary coach, given that Harlan Barnett is a secondary coach. They're bringing Mark D'Antonio back to be an advisor. You know what Mark D'Antonio was? A secondary coach. All before these guys became defensive coordinators and then ultimately head coaches. So it's just, I'm banging my head against the wall. Like, why can't they cover? Is it a scheme? Is it just the lack of talent? Are the players just not figuring it out? But they better get the heads on straight, because Maryland's going to come. Maryland's got speed. They always have speed. And they've got it on the defensive side too. So I'm not very confident Michigan State wins this game. They're a heavy underdog at this point. It's 7.5 point underdog. I recognize that it's homecoming. There's going to be a lot of people there. And you're right. If you don't get off to a fast start, people are going to, what are we going to do? Let's get out of here. I want to get home in time to watch the night games, because there's a great night schedule. I mean, I hope that's not the case. Michigan State needs to get off to a fast start. But I think this game comes down to who's got the ball last. And my gut tells me it's going to be Maryland ends up coming out on top of this in probably a one-score game.
Yeah, I mean, Tagovailoa leads the Big Ten. Again, early, so these trends, but he leads the Big Ten in yards passing. Michigan State, I think, is 13th out of 14 teams in the league, allowing 67% completion percentage against. Now, could get skewed a little bit going against Penix and Washington.
Yeah, Penix threw like 80%. So.
But at the end of the day, it's been a problem for a few years, and that there's not any evidence that it's gotten better. And if they aren't going to pressure him, and he is elusive, he'll have a big day.
Show me a pass rush. The problem with Michigan State is that when they get the pass rush, it feels like they have to dial it up through blitzes with the linebackers. But if that's what you have to do to put Tagovailoa on his back, then do it. Then do it early and do it often.